There are so many unforgettable moments from the Alien and Predator movies. It's no wonder that these two movie franchises have drawn interest from some of our generation's top filmmakers, like Ridley Scott, James Cameron, John McTiernan, to name but a few.
I've wanted to make an Alien movie since I saw the first Alien movie at school. And I kind of crept into it because I wasn't old enough to go and see it. And it scared the living daylights out of me.
I always felt it was a pretty straightforward.
That the biggest single design problem, maybe the biggest problem in the film, had been solved.
I just thought it was stunning, and I just stuck to my guns saying, no, just to get this right is going to be incredibly difficult. I always felt keep it really tight and only see the bits you want to see. Because this is always stronger than anything else. So if you think you've seen something, it's always going to be probably more horrific and horrifying.
Ridley Scott made this film that I think just stunned the world, and I was one of the people who was stunned by it when I saw it. And a few years later, when I became a filmmaker myself, I actually, saw an opportunity when I was asked to write the second one to, I wanted to make a film like that. I was so impressed by the world that he created, the characters that he created, and the design. But I think that there are many accomplishments in that first film, and he really set the bar very high for science fiction in general.
From the time we thought about tackling it, Jim's perception was, we're doing a sequel, we're not doing a remake. We're not trying to do a gothic horror film, we're going to do a combat movie. And that was how we perceived being respectful of the original vision of Ridley Scott and not trying to remake it.
What I've tried to do is take what I personally was interested in from that film, certain aspects of the alien's life cycle that interested me, the Ripley character, which interested me greatly because of the fact that it's a strong female character and that sort of thing. You don't create fear with gore, you create disgust. It's a whole different emotion. And I think that, certainly for me, the emphasis on the second picture was less on horror and more on terror. We wanted people to experience the fear and the suspense.
Where they go? Get 'em!
John McTiernan is a really wonderful action director. He has an ability to take a script and infuse it with both a sense of energy but great storytelling.
It's always been important to me somehow to try to give a sense of a place, create a sense of a place, and create a sense that this fight happens in a specific place. Because it was in an isolated environment, it had wonderful theatrical possibilities. You could make it all spooky, and you could create whatever world you needed, which ultimately we did.
I think Stan Winston gave the Predator a great look. He came up with that unique hair design, came up with those jowls. He really created an indelible monster.
He was going to be a warrior and a a humanoid, muscled-out warrior.
We're also doing the heat vision that it uses to see, so that the audience doesn't just see heat, which is kind of a disorienting image. We are shooting regular color film of the background and also a heat image all at the same time, and then combining them together later optically.
We had an idea about doing a story about a brotherhood of hunters who came from another planet to hunt all kinds of things, but we realized very quickly that wouldn't work very well, so we picked one hunter who was going to hunt the most dangerous species, which had to be man, and the most dangerous man was a combat soldier.
When we come back, we'll find out just how these two creatures happen to be in the same movie together. Take it from someone who was there. These two creatures really don't like each other. By now, you must be wondering why I'm the one talking about Alien versus Predator. After all, my character Bishop got ripped up pretty good in Aliens. I'm still hooked on the stuff. The director, Paul Anderson, has been working on the AVP project for 10 years. So when he called me and explained his vision of the film, I instantly said, count me in.
Well, I think the genesis of Alien versus Predator is obviously Predator 2, where Danny Glover goes on board the spaceship and he discovers the Predator trophy case that has human skulls in it. It's got a T-Rex skull, and of course, most exciting of all, it had an alien skull in there. I came to Fox with a pitch, which actually I'd thought of about 8-9 years ago, and I'd been kind of refining it in my head over and over and over. And I went to John Davis and I told him my idea for an Alien meeting Predator movie.
Paul pitched this story that was so scary and so suspenseful and so unraveling that by the end of the pitch I said, I'm going to talk Fox into doing this.
The Alien franchise is set in 150 years in the future. It's in outer space. I thought it would be more fun to bring the alien to the world of the Predator. So the Predator franchise so far has been set on Earth. It's present day. And, you know, I wanted to see the alien come to Earth and interact with modern day people.
7 days ago, one of my satellites over Antarctica discovered this. My experts tell me it's a pyramid.
It was a brilliant idea of Paul, I think, to bring in Lance Hendricks, and he gives us a connection to the early Alien pictures.
Let's make history.
I wrote the role of Charles Bishop Wayland for Lance because I wanted to have some casting continuity between our movie and the Alien franchise. Now, obviously, our movie is set present day, Alien is set 150 years in the future, so really the only person who could feature in both films would be someone who played one of the androids.
I am Charles Bishop Wayland. I researched all the best people I could find, experts in their fields, and they go on this adventure to Antarctica. And that's where it all begins.
My character's name is Alexa Woods, and she is an environmentalist. She has a small environmental group that she funds by taking expeditions on the ice in Antarctica. So she's very comfortable with being in those kind of hostile environments.
My character is Sebastian. I'm an Italian archaeologist. Wayland found a pyramid, but I discovered that pyramid was a mixture of 3 different cultures. And I got so excited because it could change history.
But the discovery they also make, they discover that the pyramid has been built by predators.
The story is all here. Hunters discovered a backwater planet. They taught the humans how to build, and were worshipped as gods.
The Earth holds a very special place in predator society. It's where if you want to progress in the predator clans, you have to first come to Earth and you have to battle aliens. And that's what this group of scientists get caught in the middle of.
Did you hear that? We're in the middle of a war. It's time to pick a side.
A fresh idea requires a fresh cast. But when you have cinema's two biggest monster stars, who needs movie stars? In developing Alien vs. Predator, director Paul Anderson took his casting cue from the original Alien film.
I was very keen to cast the movie in the same way that Ridley and Jim Cameron cast their films, which was first and foremost to cast really terrific actors.
So, the humanoids, the hunters, they brought those creatures here to hunt?
And they use us like cattle. We're hosts for them to breed in.
The reason why we took so long to cast the Lex character is that I knew that whoever we did cast was basically stepping into the boots of Sigourney Weaver, and I wanted someone who could live up to that. I mean, you see it in the eyes of Sanaa Lathan. She's scared, and if she's scared, the audience gets scared.
Sigourney, she's awesome as Ripley in Aliens, and it's just an honor to be able to play strong female characters. But I'm not basing Lex on Ripley. I'm basing Lex on this particular individual woman that Paul created.
Raoul's a really charismatic actor. I mean, I think he's potentially a massive, massive movie star.
As an audience, when I was reading the script, you know, I was so scared. You know, I was almost thinking, you know, don't go there, don't go there. Go! But I wanted to be part of the team in that moment, because you love the characters.
Come on, let's go! Now! Quickly!
The cast may not be household names today. After AVP opens, who knows, one of them may become famous enough to run for governor of Minnesota or California. When we come back, I'll introduce you to the AVP special effects wizards. I've been snooping around their studio all day. I think it's finally time I introduce you to the geniuses behind the recreation of the alien and predator creatures. Alec Gillis and Tom Woodruff, what was your biggest challenge making AVP?
Well, the biggest challenge was being the caretakers of these two movie icons, for H.R. Giger and for Stan Winston.
What is it that makes these two creatures such great icons?
Well, I think, first of all, the fact that we've seen them several times in different generations of movies. You know, there have been 4 Alien movies, there have been 2 Predator movies. And for us, the trick is balancing, wanting to artistically put our own stamp on it, you know, come up with something a little fresh and something new and clever for the audience, but not distancing ourselves from the audience by changing the formula, by messing around with what has become a really beloved character.
What is it you guys changed for the alien?
Well, I think in terms of the alien, for example, I think what they're really going to see is a difference in the color scheme. The whole color palette we went with is much more simplified. In fact, Paul Anderson came to us and said, guys, I want to go back to the black alien that we had in the very first movie. So the palette is really a whole collection of blacks and dark browns, blues, and silvers to help bring out the highlights in the form of the suit. And in addition to that, this time around we were able to build a hydraulic animatronic hero alien. Basically what that was is a full-scale puppet with hydraulic control and computer control. The puppeteers could operate from offset.
What did you guys change for the Predator?
The Predator this time around had to be designed so that he could stay on screen as a character. He's seen much more with his armored face shield off, and therefore he's not really relied on as sort of a shock effect character. So in that respect, we gave him a little bit longer dreadlocks so he'd have a little bit more of a romantic feel. And also in this film, the Predators have full body armor, because this time around they're fighting aliens, which are a much more dangerous prey than human beings. So they need to be much more armor clad to protect themselves from those creatures.
You know, I really got to ask, how many artists worked with you in developing these creatures?
During the course of pre-production, we had over 100 artists, which include sculptors, illustrators, mold makers, mechanical designers, all under our roof here in Chatsworth.
What is it about these creatures that the audience responds to so well?
The Predator strikes a chord with audiences, I think, because he is a humanoid and he comes from a warrior culture. He's here for the sport of the kill, and he uses all his weapons with great skill, the skill of a martial artist. He's obviously a trained killer, a trained fighter. He's unstoppable. He won't stop until he has your blood, and if you beat him, he always has that fallback of that nuclear bomb on his wrist, and that he'll just say, all right.
I think what makes the alien so terrifying is that it has a very pure, singular purpose. He's out to procreate, and he procreates by using you as a host organism, so it always results in your death. So once the alien has it in mind that you are his prey, there's going to be no changing the outcome. He always gets his way.
State-of-the-art computer effects. Push the action that extra mile.
John Bruno, visual effects supervisor.
One of the things I love is that John hates visual effects.
So this guy comes forward matching that.
His first thing will always be, well, do you have to do it as an effect? If he could go out, capture a predator, and breed a couple of aliens, that would be the movie we'd make.
Computers are basically the tool in the filmmaker's toolkit. It's always best to get something in camera. In this film, there's a lot of time spent on how we get the queen in any sequence of the film, the most efficient way in the schedule we have. So we did a number of things. We had full-size practical queen, which is a physical hydraulic version of our queen that was over 12 feet in size. We had 50 or 60 visual effects shots, CG-created queen. What we're trying to do is combine all these images so you really can't tell the difference.
So we have the queen stuck in the queen's chamber, CG on top of miniature. It's one example of difference between why use CG and why use a puppet. In this case, the queen doesn't have to do anything particularly extraordinary. You can roll and roll and roll and just try different things, different positions and stuff. To try and puppeteer 5 aliens at the same time jumping onto the queen, you know, that amount of detail of movement and complexity would, I imagine, be impossible.
On this film, we're combining Alien, we're combining a Predator. One of the very interesting things that the Predators do is they cloak so they can hide when they're hunting. Today, with computer graphics, we can make a 3D image and then make it transparently fit into a scene to make it look like it's invisible. One of the interesting things we're doing in the film is with the face huggers. They do something that Paul, he wrote into the script, he really wanted. He says, well, I want to see face huggers leaping in slow motion. That's done entirely in the computer.
What did you say this room was called?
Sacrificial chamber.
One of the shots we did was the hugger. This was something they wanted to achieve digitally to show the kind of full gore and detail of what that would look like. On the shoot day, we would take one of their practical huggers, walk it through the shot to get an idea of what the lights are doing, how slimy it looks, depth of field, the camera movement, so that we can recreate it digitally.
With the technology and special effects available to us, we've created incredible predators and aliens. We've made them so much scarier and so much more interesting. This is a movie that will wow you. This is a movie that will overwhelm you. This is a movie that will scare you deeply.
We'll have more AVP in a minute, but right now, let's take this fight to the street. Who do you think will win?
I think Predator is definitely gonna win.
Definitely the alien, because you've got like acid for blood, and you've got like the vicious like demeanor.
I definitely think Predator's gonna win.
Yeah, I definitely think Predator's gonna win too.
Alien is gonna kick Predator's butt. I think the Predator's gonna win.
The alien.
Predator's gonna win.
The alien.
The Predator got the gadgets. You see, he had all of the what-you-call-its, and his wristband, atomic bombs, and all the stuff. Alien ain't got none of that, man.
The alien's gonna win, no problem. Predator's gonna win. Alien. The Predator. Alien is gonna win. Predator. Predator.
Alien. Alien. Alien.
Oh, man, the Predator.
I'd like to thank Tom Woodruff and Alec Gillis for allowing me to run wild in their creature show. The time has finally arrived for the alien and the Predator to do battle, and you're invited with a ringside seat at your local movie theater. I don't know which creature you're betting on, but one thing is for certain. Whoever wins, we lose.
Alien and Predator fans can look forward to certainly the best-looking aliens and predators they've ever seen in a movie. I mean, I'm the biggest Alien and Predator fan. I'm the most critical of the work we're doing here. I can say without doubt we've made these creatures look better than they've ever looked before. They do more amazing things than they've ever done before. You see more of them than you've ever seen before, and you see a lot more high-impact action. You know, you really see these creatures going at it. Two fast, vicious, scary, enormous creatures that are in a chamber where they literally just tear the place apart.
Alien vs Predator te ofrece esta película.
A continuación, Alien, el octavo pasajero. A continuación, Pesadilla en Elm Street, en Calle 13.
¿Cuánto miedo eres capaz de soportar? ¿Y cuánto en solo 12 horas? Halloween en Calle 13. Alimentamos la leyenda.
¡Déjame! ¡Tengo diarrea! No me dejéis sola con este chiflado. ¡Esto está lleno de gente muerta! ¡Cuidado! ¡No me ha dolido nada!
Hoy, a partir de las 5:30 de la tarde, maratón de terror. Halloween en Calle 13.
Doctores, preséntense a sus pacientes. Empezamos con la incisión bicoronal. ¿Preparados? Empiecen.
Nip-Tac, a golpe de bisturí. Próximamente en Calle 13. Hay muchas formas de morir.
¿Estoy muerta de verdad? De verdad, de verdad.
Y muchas formas de estar muerto.
¿Serás cabrón? ¿Me mandas al infierno?
Ya te gustaría, pero me parece que no das la talla.
Esas inevitables preguntas que todos nos hacemos sobre el más allá.
Si estás entre nosotros, por favor, haznos una señal.
Ya tienen, por fin, una respuesta.
No me digas que me voy a reencarnar.
No seas tonta.
Soy un friki.